Is it as good as the first movie? Absolutely not. I still think the first movie is better. This movie has a bit more flaws than the first movie, but I would say this. This movie is much more unique and creative than the first movie is. What is up, guys and horror fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is ICD Movie Reviews. My name is Oliver Brinkett, and today I'm going to review the latest horror sequel that came out, and that film is Black Phone 2. This movie is directed by, once again, Scott Derrickson, who directed the first Black Phone movie. This movie stars the return of Mason Thames, Madeleine McGraw, and Ethan Hawke. As Finn, now 17, struggles with life after his captivity, his sister began receiving calls in her dreams from the Black Phone and seeing disturbing visions of 3 boys being stalked at a winter camp known as Alpine Lake. So we got the sequel to The Black Phone that came out a couple of years ago, which is a movie that really surprised me. I wasn't expecting that movie to be as great as it is. I would say The Black Phone is definitely one of my favorite horror films for a very long time. So when I heard they're doing a follow-up to the first movie, I was a bit skeptical, but I'm not going to lie. The trailers of this movie got me very freaking interested because it definitely looks more different and more unique than the first movie. And it's awesome to see Scott Derrickson, who directed the first movie, come back to direct it. And this isn't the only movie that Scott Derrickson has directed this year. He also directed The Gorge this year, which I find the movie pretty underrated. I think it's a very decent film. But of course, I was pumped for this movie from the trailers. This movie looks very, very different. And anything that Scott Derrickson is directing, I really liked. I think he's a very underrated director when it comes to Sinister, when it comes to the first Doctor Strange movie, but of course The Black Phone is definitely his best movie, so I cannot wait to see his follow-up. And this movie did not disappoint. I think Black Phone 2 is a very solid sequel. Is it as good as the first movie? Absolutely not. I still think the first movie is better. This movie has a bit more flaws than the first movie, but I would say this. This movie is much more unique and creative than the first movie is. And I want to start off with those aspects when it comes to the positives of the film, those aspects, the uniqueness of the film, especially when it comes to the cinematography in Black Phone 2. My freaking god, this film looks beautiful. The atmosphere on Black Phone 2 looks much more big spectacle. This movie has more of a winter setting, and you definitely feel chilled watching this movie from the setting of the film, and I think the cinematography really helps that, and the use of camera changes in the film is really unique. Every time there is a normal sequence, it's filmed in normal digital cameras, but this movie, when it comes to the dream sequences that Madeleine McGraw has in the film, it uses 8mm camera, and it looks really freaking unique. It adds a bit of a unique touch to Black Phone 2, and I think the look of this movie looks absolutely beautiful, and I just love the 8mm aspect of the film. It adds a bit of creativeness to this sequel. And of course, the original cast is back in this film, and they all do fantastic in the film. Mason Thames returning as Finney in the film. Once again, he is fantastic in the film. This actor is definitely growing on me since the first Black Phone movie. I think it's one of the best breakout role for a child actor, and I thought he is great as Hiccup in the live action How to Train a Dragon. He is ruling this year. He's in How to Train a Dragon this year. He's in Black Phone 2, and he's in Regretting You, which I'll review later. So he's definitely rising out to become a big star here, and I thought Mason Thames once again does a fantastic job in the film. You definitely feel the struggles that Finn is having in this film. He really is still scarred what happens from the events of the first movie, and he's trying to hide it inside of him. And I thought Mason Thames played that role really freaking well. He is great in the film, but I gotta say, Madeleine McGraw in this movie, this is her film. Like, you know, the first movie is more focused on Mason Thames, but Madeleine McGraw is a really good supporting character and almost a standout. This movie, she is technically the main focus of this film. Like, Mason Thames is like the secondary main character of the film, but this movie is more focused on Madeleine McGraw in the film, and I am so happy it did because she is fantastic in this film. She's definitely growing and growing from the first movie when it comes to her acting abilities. I thought she really blew my mind in this film. I thought it's a really cool choice to make Madeleine McGraw much more of a focus in this film than Mason Thames, because he had his focus in the first movie. This movie explores more of Madeleine McGraw, all the dreams and visions that she has, and I thought her performance in this film is really well done in the film. And of course, the chemistry between Mason Thames and Madeleine McGraw is the heart of this film. The chemistry still works really well in this film, and I thought the chemistry grows more stronger in this film. And of course, guys, we cannot talk about Black Phone 2 without talking about Ethan Hawke returning as the Grabber. Fucking phenomenal. Now, he's not in this movie as much as he was in the first movie, which he wasn't much in the first movie either, but this movie he's not much in it even more. But when he is on screen, holy shit, he is as terrifying as ever. He is more intimidating in this film, he is more menacing in this film, and I gotta say, Ethan Hawke's performance in this film is so strong in this film. I think the Grabber might be the next horror icon, honestly. And I even think the suspense and the atmosphere of Black Phone 2 is really well done in this film. This film doesn't rely on jump scares that we've seen in so many horror films before. It's more of the atmosphere and the story that really freaks us out. And I thought the way that Scott Derrickson directed this movie, he's trying to make this movie a little bit more unique and different than the first movie, and I just thought it absolutely works for Black Phone 2. The scares in the movie is so well handled in this film, and I feel like Scott Derrickson, that's what he is good at. He knows how to do horror scenes in his horror movies, and knows how to make people feel very intense and thrilled at the exact same time. And the winter setting of this film adds that atmosphere, makes you feel just cold, you know? This isn't a happy film. It has a bit of dark humor in this film at a couple of moments, especially with Madeleine McGraw's character, but this film is definitely a very dark and cold sequel that definitely gets you on the edge of your seat the entire time. But would I say, like I said, was this movie as good as the first movie? No, I think The Black Phone is still a better movie than this movie. This movie does have a couple of issues. I would say there are parts in Black Phone 2 that took a little bit of a while to get going. Not to say the movie was boring throughout. I think the movie is really intriguing from start to finish, but there are a couple of parts in Black Phone 2 that does feel a little bit too slow for me, and even there are some parts in the movie that does feel a bit too repetitive. Like, it goes into another sequence, it goes to that sequence, I'm like, okay, we've seen that sequence, let's get much more creative and unique with it. And I gotta say, there is a subplot in this movie with Miguel Mora in this film, which is really interesting. This kid is returning in this movie because he played the tough kid in Black Phone, and in this movie he played the tough kid's brother. It's really cool to see him casted back, but in a completely different role. But I thought the subplot with him and Madeleine McGraw, there's a bit of a romance plot in the film. I just thought it's just there for me. I feel like if that would have been cut out, the movie wouldn't make any difference whatsoever. I wouldn't say it felt forced. I understand why that's in the film, but it's definitely my least favorite aspect in Black Phone 2. But overall, guys, Black Phone 2 is definitely a solid sequel to the first movie. The winter setting adds a bit of chill and intensity to the film. This is definitely much more creative and unique than the first movie. I like the use of 8mm camera in this film during the dream sequences. It adds a really cool touch to the film. I know some people say this is like another remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street, which I totally get. I can see that comparison, but I can see that as an inspiration and make it its own unique way. That's how I see Black Phone 2. I thought Mason Thames was great in the film. Madeleine McGraw really stole the movie. She is fantastic in the film, and of course Ethan Hawke returning as the Grabber. He is intimidating and terrifying in this film. The scares are well done. The direction that Scott Derrickson does with this film, once again, he does it very unique in the film. It's definitely a very solid sequel, you know. If I watch the first Black Phone movie, I'll be like, yeah, I'm totally on board watching Black Phone 2 because this is definitely a really good sequel. I don't know if there's going to be a third movie coming out, but after this film, I wouldn't mind a franchise out of this. I think this movie definitely adds a uniqueness in the first one, and I cannot wait to see Ethan Hawke maybe return as the Grabber once again, because he's definitely another new horror icon. So yes, Black Phone 2 overall, very solid sequel to the first movie, with a couple of flaws in the film that does turn the movie down, but still, very solid sequel. So I'm going to say for Black Phone 2, definitely go see this film at a matinee price. So guys, that is my review for Black Phone 2. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. Do you like the film, hate the film? Do you think this film is as good as the first one? Let me know all those in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Notify for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a nice day.